Okay.
All right.
I don't even know if my guy was in the league this year.
Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. Max Chadwick alongside PJ Clark, Tate Sigworth, and Nick Merriam. Another scouting report for you guys. Very highly requested one, too. Notre Dame linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
I can't believe we're wasting time on a Notre Dame player, but continue.
Yeah, we're going to do Ian Book, but they're like, oh, no, this guy, too. We're going to go over his strengths, weaknesses, where he ranks for us on our boards, give player comps for him, and what NFL teams he might fit at the next level. Before we start the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs soon. Be sure to follow our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Boomer Bust Draft, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts. We have a website below too. We're doing a podcast every week now, so please, and we're doing a mailbag segment. So check that out if you haven't seen it already, and comment with any questions or add us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, reply on our podcast, or email us at boomerbustdraft@gmail.com and comment the questions down below, like I said. So let's go over JOK, Jock, number 24 on the official Boomer Bust Big Board 1.0, number 2 linebacker behind Micah Parsons from Penn State. That will be updated soon. He's a senior, 6'2", 215 pounds, former 3-star recruit, number 456 overall, number 31 athlete in 2017, coming out of Virginia. Consensus first-team All-American this year. He won the Butkus Award, which is given to the nation's top linebacker. He was the finalist for the Bednarik Nagurski Awards too, which is given to the nation's best defensive player. ACC Defensive Player of the Year this year. 62 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 1 pick, 3 passes defense, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries this year. And in 2 years at Notre Dame, 142 tackles, 24.5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 1 pick, 7 passes defense, 5 forced fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries. So Tate, let's start with you. He's your guy. When you watch JOK, what do you like the most?
Yeah, I'll let you catch your breath there, Max. That was a long one.
He does a lot.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of say he does a lot. I think he's good at everything. I don't think he's perfect at any one thing. Obviously, the biggest pro is his athletic ability. He's a ridiculous athlete for a linebacker, and that helps tremendously in coverage. I think he's a good tackler. I think he's a good pass rusher, and I think he's an above-average run defender. So I think he's good at everything. I don't think he's perfected one thing, kind of in a similar argument that PJ made, but against Isaiah Simmons in the spring last year. But I think it's a pro for Jock. I think he's good at everything. I think his athletic ability will help him in the NFL cover maybe for an imperfection here and there.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. I think he's an athlete. He's going to be able to move all over the field. I think he's got versatility positionally. I don't know if he's a Mike, which I'll get into with the negatives, but I think he's going to be more of an outside linebacker, or he can play in the secondary. I think somebody could use him as kind of a hybrid role, which is where the NFL is trending. I think that'd be a good role for him. Whereas Isaiah Simmons, they're just trying to make him into a linebacker and not really working. But I listen, I think he's dynamic. He plays sideline to sideline. He's got closeout speed, really versatile to go sideline to sideline. I think he's a good tackler. I have questions about his ability to get off blocks, but super athletic guy that if he gets into the right scheme can be schemed into the right positions. And he's good in coverage. I think he's going to be able to keep up with tight ends. I really like him as a player. I think the versatility is his biggest pro.
High motor, speedy, scary athlete, just flying around the field. He looks comfortable everywhere, whether it's running between blockers in the A gap or it's, in coverage way downfield. He truly is a guy who can fit anywhere on the field, make him work. He's like one of these coverage linebackers. You're not seeing a whole lot of these guys coming out right now, which is why I would really think it's important. I think it's important that this guy stays, even if you're not putting him at Mike, as an outside linebacker, because I think a lot of teams are going to be like, he might be a safety, and they might actually try and play him at safety and try and move him around on the back end a little bit. I think this guy needs to be not necessarily always in the box, but at least near the box, because I think his athleticism gives him kind of a differentiation from most of the kind of average run tackle, sometimes pass rushing linebackers you see in the NFL today. He's a real potential as a difference maker at that position. Just a complete athlete all over the field. Put him where you want. I don't know. That's what he chucks receivers off the line of scrimmage. He's a guy that, you line him up a tight end, he's just going to shove the tight end. It's going to completely ruin the play.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's probably the best linebacker in this class at coverage, I would say. That interception, the only interception he had in his career, but man, that was impressive against Pitt. He shadowed the receiver and they made a great play in the ball. Only spent 47% of his snaps this year in the box or on the D line. The rest was spent at slot corner, outside corner, or free safety, which is wild. Less than half of his snaps were in the box or on D line. For comparison, Micah Parsons, our number 1 linebacker, spent 89% of his snaps in 2019 in the box or on D line. So basically double that of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Can legitimately cover running backs, tight ends, and slot receivers. He covers like a safety. Very explosive. Quickness, I think, is top notch. He gets in the backfield in a hurry. I would kill to see his 3-cone. While I like Kwity Paye, which is freaky, I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah's 3-cone would be unbelievable too. Flips his hips, changes direction so quickly. Sideline to sideline speed is crazy. And I think he has a nose for the football too and really good instincts. So PJ, what do you think JOK's weaknesses are though?
Well, I kind of mentioned it. If you're drafting him to be a Mike linebacker, I think he's going to fail. I don't think that's putting him in a position to succeed. Where there are Mike linebackers in this class, you have your Zaven Collins, your Nick Bolton, your Dylan Moses. If you want to go that far down, like there are true like on-ball linebackers if you want them. They exist. They're there. He's not one of them. So I think that's a problem. Secondarily, I don't think he's a great pass rusher because he doesn't get off blocks. He gets thrown around because he's a smaller guy. He has difficulty disengaging and getting past people, especially on the offensive line. So I think that's something he's going to have to work on. But if you're playing him more, off the ball, downfield, I think he'll be better served than trying to attack the ball at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, his size question mark. I found a fun fact when researching for this video. The first linebacker the last 3 years off the board have been under 240 pounds. So it's not like this jock size is not common in the NFL, and it's becoming even more coveted as that fact demonstrates. As Peter said, if you're looking for a Mike, it's not Jock. Jock's like a off-ball, will. You could play him at safety. I mean, he lines up against like slot receivers at times. That just demonstrates the kind of athlete he is. So I'm gonna guess I say size question mark, or maybe that he's like not perfect at any one thing. But I don't know. I like him a lot. I'll say that.
I think the block shedding thing is a bit of an issue. He doesn't really get engaged very often by blockers because he's just so quick and athletic in college. He just kind of runs around guys. Going to be harder to do that at the NFL level, though. So what they're going to teach him to do, he's got long arms. They got to teach him to use his hands a little bit better, rip and swim around guys who are trying to block you, disengage better. And he definitely knows how to use them because I think there's a bit of a tackling issue in that he's very much an arm tackler. He's very good at doing it. Like, he can trip guys up well. He's got long arms. He wraps guys, but he needs to get his shoulders more involved in tackling, I think, instead of just kind of diving at guys' legs, which I think, although he's done a very good job at, could be harder to do in the NFL.
Yeah, a lot like Isaiah Simmons. He's kind of a linebacker in name only. He's undersized, 215 pounds. You saw Darius Leonard play at that size, so obviously not that big of a concern, but still 25 pounds lighter than the average linebacker, even though he's the average height. Lack of strength shows up in the run game, I think. Offensive linemen are able to push him around the times where he did have to take on blocks. Not a great run defender in this class. Also, just an okay tackler, too. His explosiveness kind of gets the best of him sometimes. A lot of times he over-pursues the ball carrier. He missed 20 tackles on 124 attempts in his career. 16% missed tackles right there. And Parsons, who I think is the best tackler in the class, only missed 7% of his career tackle attempts. So, Nick, give me the bottom line on JOK, where he ranks for you, player comp, and potential team fits at the next level.
He is my number 2 linebacker on the board, 16 overall potential fits. Dolphins, I think, Brian Flores would find a way to use him perfectly. That he'd really work in that defense, a good fit. In terms of coaching, he's the type of guy you would want. I wouldn't doubt that if the Chargers took him, that they'd use him well as Brandon Staley there. That would be a little high for him, I think, but it's possible. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cardinals took him either, although I think they would use him incorrectly, as we've already seen, kind of Isaiah Simmons. But maybe having 2 of those guys and make them be smarter about it. I don't know. Probably not. Crazy. Though. Yeah, I don't know. And then my comp is a safety, although I do think he's a linebacker. Adrian Amos, kind of a thumper at safety, guy who kind of hovers around a little bit more. Penn State, baby. Penn State guy. It's for Max, yeah. I had a tough time with this one, not going to lie. I just kind of wanted a big safety who can kind of to me seems like a linebacker. And I didn't want to use Landon Collins because he's another Washington player. So Adrian Amos.
For me, also my number 2 linebacker behind Micah Parsons. I have him at 18. That's exactly the team fit Nick took at the 18th overall pick, Miami. I think Brian Flores would do mean things with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. If we saw a little bit of a fall, I think Buffalo would be a really sneaky spot too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be kind of interesting. I doubt he gets that far, but they need linebackers, and they did a lot of due diligence on some safety hybrid types last year. So I think that might be a need. As far as player comp, I took a safety who then transitioned into a linebacker and was not in the league this year. I looked it up. Max and I were arguing if we had the same guy. Dayon Buchanan. Who was initially a strong safety, and then they were just like, all right, we're going to make you a weak side linebacker, and that's pretty much the role where I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to play. Another 6'1", 210, about the same size. I think that's pretty much the fit, a weak side linebacker who can play in coverage on the back end.
So he was 19 on the first board. I think he sneaks up to like maybe 16 on my updated board, linebacker 2 behind Micah. Team fit Browns. Hey, Cleveland, talking to you. I would kill
in the
for
first
that.
round this time.
Yes,
you're talking
in the first round.
round.
In the first round.
So we're going Jock and then JC.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That would be
an A+.
That's an A+ draft.
That would be A+, yeah.
I would kill for Jock on the Browns as a Browns fan, but also, I mean, the Bills. I don't think he gets there, but I could see them. Maybe the Colts in that will position. The Raiders up a little higher. I don't know exactly where he's.
Does some weird things, man.
I know.
Could totally just be like this. Yeah, we're gonna take this guy.
That's we're sending Jock. So I don't know. I think it's kind of tough to predict where he's going to go in the first round. But he's a modern linebacker for the modern game. My comp, I'm going with Deion Jones.
Okay.
Atlanta. I know he's mainly kind of a Mike guy, but I mean he lines up in the slot. He lines up at safety sometimes, even outside corner for the Falcons. So I think he's that kind of dynamic, smaller, athletic linebacker that Jock is.
I like that. Number 24 for me, number 2 linebacker behind Micah Parsons. You don't want him as a true Mike linebacker. He's more of a will in a 4-3 scheme, like Tate said, where you put him more in the slot than in the box. Excellent in coverage, but I don't think he'll add much as a run defender, tackler, or even pass rusher, like PJ said. The role I see him having is like closer to what Jamal Adams has. He might be more of a safety at that size. But Darius Leonard, what? I think he could have a similar type of.
Jay, noted huge Jamal Adams fan.
Yeah. Oh, just mentioning his name. I get it. It's like Baltimore for PJ.
He's way better in coverage than Blitzboy is. So
I agree. But yeah, like kind of the similar type of role though. Darius Leonard, similar size, 215, so he can succeed at linebacker. I just think Leonard and him are different players. Team fit, I kind of like the Titans at 22.
Yep.
I think they could be
get him with Braves. If anybody's going to teach him how to be a linebacker,
do a lot of good things with him. Jayon Brown with him too. I think that would be a lot of fun. Player comp, I'm going to go with Roquan Smith. Smith an inch shorter, 10 pounds heavier, but also very athletic, 4.5 speed, excellent in coverage, but isn't that great in run defending. I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to be a similar player. So Roquan Smith is my player comp. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Where does he rank in this linebacker class for you? Where would you take him overall in the draft? Comment any videos you want us to do next, any questions you have for our mailbag. Follow our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Boom or Bust Draft, and leave a review in the podcast, and check out the website below, and please like and subscribe to the channel. So for PJ Clark, Tate Sigworth, and Nick Merriam, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.